I think I hit the button. Yes, it's priming. It'll start counting down right now.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Okay, I'm rolling. All right. So here we are, Ultraviolet Vampire. This is right up our alley right here.
Oh my!
I love Mila. Oh man, you've got the unrated extended version. That's a great. Yeah, I see it says unrated right there on the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, this movie, it's got like some pros and cons. I gotta say right from the start, like a big disclosure. What do the people always say? Full disclosure. I love Mila, so I'm like a super fanatic. I want to marry her. It's she's the best. That's it. Like so.
Okay, this is unofficial sequel to Equilibrium. We're just gonna say that no one says that, but
it takes place in the same world. So I want to say these universes are connected, but loosely connected because we're dealing with the Arch Ministry. In Equilibrium, we were dealing with the Tetragrammaton clerics.
Look, it's population control. They're both trying to do population, control the
they're
mass.
They're both institutions that are using language that's based on Christian ideology. Yeah. So Kurt Wimmer's big on that. He must have been traumatized or something by the church.
Yeah.
There's something, his uncle, who knows? I'm just joking.
Oh man.
Something happened to him. Daxis. Vice Cardinal Daxis. There's another church reference.
Okay.
Vice Cardinal Daxis is the leader of this society, this totalitarian society, and the imagery is incredible. The music blows me away. It's like Dune. It's Brian Eno's theme from Dune. Is the same riff. Okay. Like if you hear it, it's like, oh, you hear the riff. It's there. But it has all the elements, but this movie unfortunately failed for me.
Very techno, like dance, kind of almost. Yeah. They're trying to make it hip, right?
Yes.
Like a club mix or something. Yeah.
But there is that theme, like the where. Like you hear the lady, like, oh, the one main theme,
right?
That's the straight out of Dune. Where you hear the violins and the crescendo, and but
this one, we both got the vibe that the director Wimmer is trying to make this like better than Equilibrium, like like Equilibrium on steroids, right?
Yeah,
we both get that. But you just said for you it's a fail. You like Equilibrium better?
Yeah, because we used some language in the Equilibrium video, and I'll just bring it back where we talked about how it was a copy of the Matrix, and it was a copy of this and a copy of that, and it had some shortcomings, but overall it was a success.
Yeah.
For what it missed and for where it crashed and burned, it was a success. So this is Equilibrium's a great movie.
Right.
In the case of Ultraviolet, we have the highest paid supermodel of the time, earning multi-million. I think it was like $3 million a year. You can look it up. Whoever wants to look it up. In that year that she was filming this movie, she was the highest paid. So that's that. And then we're dealing with other stars that we've got in the movie. That, Nick Chinlund had just come off of Riddick.
Okay.
And the highs from that movie. So we're dealing with great stars that have had skyrocket. So we've got all the elements of Hollywood, greatness, awesome story, but somehow it's a failure. I don't know why. We can talk about this. We can explore why this is a failure.
First of all,
I've got my theories, and I'm pretty, ready.
They had production problems.
Right from the start, there's some audio problems for me. Like the audio, we talked about Outer World a few videos back. Great movie.
Yeah.
Audio was kind of sucky.
Yeah.
But the movie is so incredible.
It worked.
I'm willing to listen to that movie and watch it and go through that audio.
Yeah.
Swamp. But this movie, man, the audio it sounds like there's a constant reverb, like they filmed it in a sound studio where the guy didn't mix it right. Like what you were saying, that stuff about like how it's in the rough draft version of the mix.
Yeah.
And there's even scenes where usually when you're dealing with like a movie scene and I'm talking and then there's a guy that's like 15 feet away from me and we're in the same frame of the scene.
Yeah.
You can hear in the movie with surround sound that guy's 15 feet away.
Right.
We've got the technology. In 2006, we had the technology. Back when he was filming it in 2004 and 2003 in Hong Kong, we had that technology in the world. It was around. So I don't know what they did with the audio, but man, they messed it up. But still, it doesn't take away too much. But that's a con for me. I'm already pissed with the audio.
They're saying that not just the audio, but also with some of the animation CGI scenes.
It feels like a cartoon. Did you feel like it was a cartoon?
And if that's what they're going for, that's fine. But they're saying that some people feel like it's unfinished looking. That
it looks
like
blurry.
Trying to make it anime style, but some of the parts, it's like her face close up just looks soft and blurry. So. Yeah. You know, and I don't know.
I'm a little bit embarrassed for the guy because, like, he goes from the masterpiece Equilibrium to this. So somebody's drinking some kind of Kool-Aid because either Kurt Wimmer believed that he had so much clout that he could create a new masterpiece, or there was some missing pieces. The studio came in and said, "Hey, look, you've got some time constraints. The budget, we're way over budget.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. Finish it now."
I'm sure that happened. I'm sure.
I don't know because I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
I was more in love with the story aspect of it. And I definitely have so much to say about the story because it's, again, man, in this case, a woman versus the machine versus the establishment. Machine is synonymous with establishment.
Now, could you give credit, not that we owe anything to Wimmer or anyone in this film, but could you give credit that they tried to make something ambitious, like more than Equilibrium?
Absolutely. They're filming in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's
futuristic scape. Yeah. So
the cityscapes, everything's on location.
Yeah.
And they're on skyscraper rooftops. There's a lot of money involved in this filming.
Yeah.
So they set out to make an epic masterpiece. Remember, I think she'd already had the success of Resident Evil 1 for sure.
Okay.
And Resident Evil 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if Resident Evil 3 had already come out. The one where she's in the desert with
I don't think so.
Kukuri knives, or what are they called? Those knives?
Yeah, kukuri knives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think, yeah.
So I think that one came out like a year after this one.
Okay.
But I think it was also Screen Gems or a similar production company. So, because we know this is Sony, right? And she...
Right. Right. So, yeah. No, I'm
So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on that just before we can even talk about the beauty and the craftsmanship, the art of the actors themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness.
Right. There was, and you know what? I think you nailed it. He just probably too ambitious. You know, just like even like, for example, to make the decision that she was going to be on a motorcycle, right? That was gravity defying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I can't really think of a movie where that's worked, right?
Yeah. I've never even seen that before in another movie. Like
Ghost Rider? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So for me, it just when they do that, it's hard to and that's super ambitious.
Huh? we don't get any explanation for how she does it. We just see her do like a dial, and then a dial on the thing, but we don't get any explanation. And it's a throwback to the Tesseract structure of Outer World, where when we do the little dial thing, when Mila touches the little dial, we see like a black hole type of a sun within a universe, and the expanded Men in Black micro universe in the micro universe. So we're seeing something like she's creating a magnetic field. Essentially, she's creating a magnetic field, and everything around her is not subject to this field. So now the field is around just her body and her bicycle. It's
difficult to like get in touch with that, you know, like to relate to that, because they also introduce the what is the weapons that could go inside?
Yeah, that flat space technology,
right?
Dimension compressing.
So you're now bringing in two different superpowers essentially.
Yeah,
you know, with
two
minimal.
Variables that we're not given a reason of how or why, or even a clue.
Right. So if they focus maybe on one and then they show it consistently, and they kind of show like other technology related to it, and that's how their society is. You know, like it's similar to maybe that's how the color changing of the outfits, but it's just for the cool factor.
Yeah, like the color changing by itself would have just been so awesome, like to explain.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it something in the fiber? Is it a nano machine? Is it her willpower? Anything. Just give me something. But we're giving all these great by themselves standalone ideas, but put together it feels like the kid that waited all year to write his research paper.
Yeah, right.
Like all year.
Right,
like to the night before.
No,
did you get that feeling? Like there's so many ideas, but
it feels
they're
juvenile.
Disconnected in a way.
Yeah, it feels juvenile. It's not well thought out. If it was like you said, nanotech that's changing the color, nanotech that brings out the sword from the body.
Yeah,
I that would help.
No, this is a guy that's quoting Yeats in his previous movie, you know, and he keeps that line going about the "don't tread on my dreams." Even Angus McFadden says it at the end.
Yeah,
says you're treading on my dreams, John Preston. And over here, we're not even getting anything. It's like, I've never failed to complete my mission. Like, we don't know that Violet's been on any other mission. This is the first time we've ever met her. Like, how do we know?
I think
I love the movie.
Yeah, no.
You triggered something in me right now that you've got me thinking about the movie in a way that I've never thought about it before, like this. That where I can dissect it and say, hey, wait a minute, I didn't like this part of the movie. These were pieces of the movie that seemed incomplete.
It has so much potential. Yeah. Visually, I admire them for trying to do something this ambitious, but it's definitely too much, too greedy, you know.
I thought it was my fault because for many, many years, the only copy of this movie that I had was a pirated copy from way back in the day.
Okay.
So, like, I had downloaded a torrent or something way back in the day, and that was the only copy I had.
Yeah.
So when I watched it again this week, and I watched it, and I heard the bad audio, I saw the blurry visuals, the weird, like, soft, you know, this is a beautiful woman that, like, you know, she blows Meg Foster away. Like,
dude, at the time, if you want the most beautiful actress,
this is it. Like,
there's nobody else. Yeah, like, she's a supermodel, right? Yeah. So on paper, this is the best credential.
This is Eleanor of Aquitaine in 2004.
Well, it's like getting Don the Dragon Wilson, you know, with the real credentials. You know, this is
the real credentials of hot babe. Like, they don't get any hotter.
This is the best of the best, and is a legit Hollywood actress that can act. Yeah. I mean, you just
and we've got an independent writer director. This guy's already. I mean, he's proven himself with this other movie, Equilibrium. Mm-hmm. But what happened? What's the disconnect? What happened?
Too much. Yeah. And in Equilibrium, he successfully shows the world, but he also dives really deep into the character. In
Yes.
this
Yeah, we
one,
don't get any of that character building here.
not really. Mila's
So
just
we
running
know,
around.
like
Yeah.
she narrates her thing at the beginning, and she's narrating it, and like for me, there's no distinction between the narration and when she pulls up on the motorcycle to the arch ministry. Like in Conan, we get Mako narrating, and then the story begins,
Unfolds.
and there's no more voice of the narrator. We don't see the narrator until 30 minutes until the movie's gonna end.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Oil my sword. I'm going to meet the Mountain of Doom."
Yeah.
Here we see the narrator right from the beginning, and it's like, what am I looking at? Like, why is her hair ultraviolet? Like why does she look like she has a wig on?
How about how about the part where in this movie it's like he's trying to put in the old stories that you're talking about, because she does die.
Yeah.
And she's brought back just like Conan, just like she dies, is brought back to life. Did you really feel anything?
No, it was weird because
not really,
like,
right?
Not only is she brought back to life, but she's pissed, and like she tells Garth in this time, William Flickner is really Garth, his character. I totally didn't give him credit for his name in the other movie, but here he's Garth.
Yeah,
and he runs a tech lab, a research lab. He's a chemist, and he's got this lab, but he tells her, like, isn't it obvious why I brought you back to life? Like, he's in love with her.
Yeah.
But she hates herself, and then she failed at her mission to protect this boy, which we still don't know, unless you watch the extended version, why she cares so much about the kid. Like, you don't know, depending on which version of this movie you watch, that she had her own kid, and there was a miscarriage in her life.
Dude,
at some point you might just think she was working and there was an accident and she got infected and this and this.
Yeah, her character is just cold and mad the whole time. And then, I mean, what does she do to this guy who brought her back to life? And he's like, she
tells him off.
Yeah,
like, bringing her back.
He's like, isn't it obvious? And great actor. And she just like pats him on the shoulder.
Yeah,
before she leaves, that's it.
Like, there's no kiss, there's no embrace,
there's nothing.
There's just like she raises the hand and like just gives him like the touch, like and like a look, like
that's it. Or yeah, she touches. That's it, dude. Conan, when he comes back to life, and that part just to bring him back to life was an ordeal.
Yeah,
they had to, fight off the demons right all over his face, and
I mean, Valeria makes
sacrificed.
Makes her holy vow right there.
Right,
like, I'll give my life if I have to.
She does all that, and she does, because she gets.
She ends up giving her life.
Right, and okay, so he comes back to life. He doesn't talk, and then the beautiful music scene where he's at the beach and he takes out the sword, and it's almost like he's.
So there's a little bit of a redemption where Mila's laying down in her apartment.
In the bed.
And then he calls her. Garth calls her. So
that's right.
It's like Kurt Wimmer knows all of this. He knows he's pissing us all off. But like a fisherman, he's reeling us back in like a good writer. He knows. So he gives us the worst of the worst, and then he reels us in with a hook. Because she wakes up. All this time she's pissed. But all her emotions. Remember, Kurt Wimmer is still a master writer in real life. Whatever happened with the terrible situations with this movie, that happened. But he's still a good writer, in my opinion. Mm. And so he's telling the story of logic and reason versus emotion. So emotions has clouded her. She can't see. She's on her bed, freaking out. And then all of a sudden, Garth calls her and he's like, turn on the news. You're all over the news.
Right.
and when she's watching the monitor on her screen, by the way, they're like in the future world, and he still calls it a TV. Like, wouldn't they have called it like stream? You know, like download. Like, but anyway, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Turn on your TV. You're all over the news. She sees the teardrop.
Yeah.
And when she sees that teardrop, it clicks, and like. Yeah. She rises knows. From the dead.
Yeah.
And like she literally like rises up and she's like, "Where are you?" "I'm on my way. 15 minutes." Boom. Yeah. So she's back, and Kurt Wimmer is back with a fire. He's got us. We're now in what do you say? Like we're fully invested in the moment now. If you weren't paying attention, now you're hooked.
He knows the formula, yeah. So
yes,
and this takes us to the final fight, which is it's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean the movie's kind of like boring. Like it's like little boy and he's a weapon, and what is he? Is he an antigen? We don't know. Who knows, man? We just fast forwarded beyond all that stuff, and now we're at this. Yeah. But we can go back. See, she's a courier, and she's impersonating a courier.
Okay.
And they go in and they test her. She gets a weapon, the package.
Yeah.
And the package ends up being more of this flat space dimension folding. It's a little boy, a full grown human being inside a guitar. It's
so
a guitar.
Weird. Yeah. But
it looks like the body of a guitar.
Look, if this was done right, it should have been more like Transporter.
Yeah. Yeah,
because right,
Transporter.
Right, Transporter 1, right?
Here's some juice. Let me give you some juice. Like, what's going on? Or even get God with Halal Mary.
Okay.
Where guaranteed on delivery, I think, or it's another Transporter one where he's delivering a package and it's a girl,
right?
And he's like, "Oh my goodness, what's this?" He breaks it open, and
dude, it's Transporter. Before Transporter,
Yeah.
Should it, instead of a young boy, should it have been a romantic interest? Is that where he messed up?
It could have been a romantic interest with Mila. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the thing with Garth just wasn't strong enough. Like, she didn't love him. Did he really love her? Like, no. I don't know.
It just, that was,
So something's going on there.
And the vampire thing was...
Yeah, the vampire thing was a little bit weak. I mean, I love vampires, as much as the next guy comes. I love my buddy.
So look, it should have been Transporter in the underworld setting.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But it's not, because really, what makes them vampires? The fangs, and they're stronger. That's it. Because the visuals complete the style. Underworld, they look like vampires. They even if it's high tech and stuff, they still had the.
But they talk about the lineage, and lineage is important when we're dealing with vampire movies, and in Underworld, we get where the virus comes from.
Right.
Ultimately, vampirism is a virus.
Right.
That's what I believe. I don't know if you believe that. We've never really talked about it, but so the bite, Underworld, we know where it comes from. They set it up. It's awesome. Victor's the main dude, at least in part 1. We don't learn until later that it comes from like the main guy, and it breaks up with the two brothers, Willem and the other one, Marcus, and such and such. But in this case, it's a virus discovered by Daxus of all people, and he's supposed to be some like technician, and he makes a rookie mistake and cuts himself with who is going to believe that? Like, somebody who's never took a science class in their life is going to believe that, but not a scientist. But okay, suspend belief. He cuts himself, and then he gets the disease. So it's a virus that infects your humanity, and then kind of you get like light sensitivity, heightened perception, you get the fangs, but they don't really talk about it too much. And I wish they would have. For being a vampire movie, I expected a little bit more.
Yeah. No, like the underworld creates a world where or even what
It
was
starts out beautifully. The 800 years ago,
yeah
we were, and it was a war, and the war had been raging for centuries. Celine is narrating this, and it's awesome. It's the formula of Dune, where Virginia Madsen is narrating, and so we start out with Violet Jongzan Sharif, which I can't even pronounce her name. She's narrating, but the narration doesn't go anywhere.
No, it could.
Man, how can I tear this movie down? I love this movie, and I'm tearing it down.
Dude, it has the ideas there. They were going, because Underworld is like what? Matrix with vampires, honestly. It's, right?
Yeah, and like hot babes.
Yeah, so now in this one you're adding the Matrix. Just, we already know he likes that from Equilibrium. So you got the Matrix. You're adding vampires. I mean, and then there's even like this whatchamacallit, this new technology stuff that he wants to throw in there.
Yeah, the guns. It's like the scene from the Matrix where like Neo is like, "We're gonna need guns," and like she's like downloading that to like one wrist, and then she downloads all the bullets coming out.
Wrist. Yeah. All that stuff, and it's there. It's all there. It's just how it got weaved in. We have the resurrection. We have the transporter plot in there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that could have worked, and we have seen work in other films like Underworld, Transporter.
Yeah.
It's worked in those. She's pretty much a Aeon Flux superhero.
Yeah.
Before the Marvel stuff, so this could have been huge.
Yeah.
But it just too much.
What was it competing with? What was coming out in 2006 when this came out?
Was it X-Men? Was it?
Yeah.
No. X-Men was before that. Like 2003, maybe.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So.
Okay, 2006 was Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
That was a big blockbuster that came out that year.
Her Resident Evil 2, right?
Resident Evil 2 had come out a few years before, I think 2002.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, that early?
Resident Evil 1 was 2001, I think, or 2000.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because I remember I was in Austin teaching Japanese at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
So I'm trying to think of the climate of movies, like what was out there, like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
No, that actually came later.
Come out yet?
Yeah, I think that was later, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, God, wait, around this time, maybe, I don't know.
2006. We're dealing with 2006.
Okay.
Anyway, my point is that the movies of that time would have influenced this, and then the strategic deployment of when are we going to release this movie, because this is what we're competing with.
Yeah.
Adds to that mix mash of we better hurry up and finish it.
Mm-hmm.
It still feels like a miss. We go from the little boy is a weapon to destroy all vampires, and then now the little boy is a weapon to destroy all humans, and there's not much explanation of when Daxis is telling that European-looking vampire guy what's up.
Right.
That's like one of my favorite scenes of you think you can kill me, and he pours the coffee into that really cool cup all the way to the brim.
Yeah.
And then he takes out the pistol from that sealed, hermetically sealed container, and he's just so. I love the egotistical top of the cream of the crop. Nick Chinlund does just such a great job. For me, it's like he's the Riddick Part 2, or the bounty hunter that he plays in Riddick. He graduates.
He does. revealed that it wasn't to destroy humankind, but once again, population control, where they're infected
Yes,
and they got to
they're
come to
gonna line
him.
up and they're gonna buy the cure on
Right.
the daily.
Exactly.
On the
So
daily. Yeah.
that's going back to equilibrium. Now you can see the connection there, the population control. You know,
and the scene of the three vampires that take those spheres, and that's a great scene, man. Like, it sets everything up, and we think this is gonna be an epic movie because you've got the helicopter and it drops off these three giant spheres that look like wrecking balls.
Yeah.
And they go in through a skyscraper and boom.
Yeah.
When they land in, they just disappear all of a sudden and they turn into people.
Right.
Like it's Dragon Ball Z. And you're like, what? Like, you know, the ball spaceship that they have where you know, the Dragon Vegeta and Nappa first land there and planet Earth back in the beginning.
Now we got to talk about the fight scenes because from gun kata.
Mila actually studied martial arts.
This time. Yeah, she was doing Filipino martial arts. I've put it up on my Twitter. You know, she
awesome.
had she was doing. You see her training with the Eskrima sticks and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but this was, they wanted to do something more surpassing gun kata, right?
Yeah.
And so from your point of view, what do you think of the fight scenes? Because there's a lot in here.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I think they definitely took the formula of gun kata and then went a step above. Because when she takes out the blood chinois on the top of their roof, it's gun kata. It's right out of the form. She does like the thing, walk like an Egyptian. She does the two things. Like she does everything. And you're like, wow, like you just took it to the next level. Of course, it's a babe. Like, you love it. She's in her. There's always a scene of her beautiful, like, posterior. Like, every scene is like the camera coming from under. You know, like you're watching Mila. You're like, yeah, this is the money shot. But what else? Let's see.
The sword.
The sword is cool because it's unique. Like there's no handle, so she kind of like it's double edged.
It's that
almost.
flat.
Well, there's a handle on hers.
Yeah, there is a handle, but it's flat.
Later on in some scenes where she grabs the blade and like you can see the cuts on her hands. That's later. But man, there's some good fighting in here. It's pretty authentic. Looks pretty good.
They trained a lot. For me, you know, I'm the fight seems not super into it, you know, just because, and this is kind of like the way that I think.
Well, it's not Billy Blanks, you know.
No.
Come to the table here. It's Mila Jovovich, but
yeah.
Like, it's not Billy Blanks or Don the Dragon.
And so my critique to Wmpyr's doing gun kata and this style, whatever, and even Born Identity or any of the modern stuff, right, is that they're getting to the point where they're doing actual techniques, right?
Yes.
They're using, you know, and then like even in gun kata, they try to put in the logic and stuff of the technique. What they're missing to me is time.
Yeah.
Okay, time is almost never present or super small in all the Hollywood fight scenes. And what I mean by that is that the most basic thing with time is if you fight somebody, you're going to get tired fast.
Correct.
And yes, I understand Mila's superhuman, but she's also fighting superhuman amount of people. She needs to get tired bad. She needs to get, the wear and tear is just completely almost non-existent, right?
Yeah.
Same with
almost like we see it where
we see some scars, but
she fires the pistol like and then she burns herself. Like
it's it should be way
there, but
way
it's not
worse.
Enough.
Nowhere near enough. And the other thing, like same with gun kata, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to shoot and then, you know, the most, you know, highest percentage of not getting hit and all that, I get it. I understand. But that would be like me going into a MMA cage fight, right? And I know the highest percentage of being safe, and I basically stay there and let the guy attack me, and I'm the whole time doing an Anderson Silva, and it's just you. Eventually, one's gonna hit, and one gets hit is gonna be done. And if you're
Yes.
doing that, and she
Yeah.
doesn't she fight like 1,000 people at the end?
700.
700.
Daxus says, "I have 700 soldiers."
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
time is never.
Remember,
shown.
we watched Crazy Samurai, the 400 versus 1 Miyamoto Musashi movie recently. I made a review about it. I may have mentioned it to you before.
Okay.
In that movie,
Yeah.
that movie has stages where he goes to places where he stashed water. He gets a second, even a third, even a fourth sword that he stashed because he just battled it out with a couple dozen hundred people.
Yeah.
So his sword's already chewed up. So that sword's gone. Like, it's not going to take the beating. So you've got to get a fresh sword.
See, that's
that movie
more
considers
realistic.
those variables that you're talking about, and makes it entertaining for someone that has the intellectual capacity to contemplate those things extra dimensionally outside of the suspend belief part of watching a movie. When we watch a movie, we give up a lot of our smartness, and we just say, okay, lead me in the direction you want to lead me. But Kurt Wimmer misses a little bit of the exit ramps where he's trying to get us to drive off into these valleys so that he can entertain us.
Right.
He misses a lot of those marks with Ultraviolet, but still there's something there. It's got a lot of charisma for the value. If you can get past the audio, the weird sounding voice and the reverb, and you can get past it, the beautiful music is still there, and the beautiful visuals are still there.
Some of the visuals are real nice.
Some of them
are not,
beautiful.
Yeah.
What I mean beautiful is like the cathedral type atmosphere of the arch ministry.
When she's walking and walking through in the corridors, I mean. All that is excellent. Yeah. But no, for sure. For me, it's charming. This is a charming movie.
Yeah.
And I love that they went very ambitious. That they tried. So in a way, that's like almost like an independent movie.
Yeah, they're setting it up at the beginning because if you watch the beginning, it's got like footage with, I don't know, B-roll type of footage of the comic book setting.
That's right.
So a lot of animation, and it's one of the first times in a movie where you see, like, instead of it saying like director of photography, it has like phrases in different languages and stuff, and just written down, and just weird phrases that if you read them and you read it slowly or you pause it through, you can see little messages that they're kind of giving and sort of homages that they're paying to some of these people. But I think that's cool. Like, you see it later on in especially these Marvel movies where they try to do a lot of the artistic stuff in the intros. But back then, Kurt Wimmer, he was doing it.
Yeah,
and that's 2006. Yeah. I keep calling this movie 2004 because I remember they filmed it. It took a long time.
Okay.
This movie went through there was some problems with this
that's
movie.
Right.
It didn't come out when it was supposed to come out.
Right.
It came out a couple years after it was supposed to come out.
I see.
Yeah, because there was really, I don't know what it was, either insurance companies or the studios themselves. So.
Yeah, no, and it kind of shows. Like, you can tell they had problems. Yeah,
they rushed it at the end.
But for what it's worth, I think it's a charming movie. I like it.
I love it.
So if you want substance, definitely Equilibrium's the better movie.
Equilibrium, yeah.
But to me, this is, if you enjoyed Equilibrium, you want something more like a bonus.
But this one still has it because, look, like, there's a cool scene between her and Cameron Bright where she's got her fingers and she's like, can you read runes? I don't know what language she says, but they're like runes, and he's, so, and then she says this one was going to say mother, but that never happened. So we get a little bit of insight into her and why she's bitter toward the arch ministry and just bitter toward the world, and she hates herself. And there's a character building for Violet, except it's still limited. Like you really have to go out on a leap as a movie watcher and suspend your belief and watch it many, many times so that you can really sort of marinate this movie. It takes a few viewings.
For me, I wish her character was written more likable, because if I'm supposed to like her just because it's Mila and just because the way she looks, the fashion, because she looks cool, right, throughout the movie.
No, that's cool.
So just because of that and her one-liners, I want stuff because on the other hand, I'm seeing some characteristics of her that is unlikable. Her character, the way it's written, like the way she treated her buddy.
Like, take for example the Major Kusanagi from Ghost in a Shell.
Yeah. She's
an animated character, like a cartoon.
Yeah.
But you fall in love with her right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about her. Mm-hmm. There's like a mystique and a charm, and she pulls you in, and you really want to get to know her.
Right.
But Violet almost comes off a little bit too conceited. Like you don't want to get to know her because she's throwing off this like I hate you vibe.
Right. And I don't think it's necessarily Mila's fault. It's just the way it's written, No,
it's the way it's written. It's the way it's coming off. And and maybe there's something to that what we were talking about, that Mila herself was coming into her own as an actress and wanting to take roles where she would play an active part in participating as a member of the movie-making team and not just a pretty face saying lines. She wanted to be in the editing room and sit down. And remember, Jean-Claude made Bloodsport good because he was in the editing room.
That's right.
And put that movie together.
Right.
What would this movie had been if Mila would have had the opportunity to make her character look extra good?
I don't know, because like for one,
we'll never know.
Yeah,
that's your great answer. No, I don't know either. And we can only speculate.
But for one, Wimmer did fantastic job with Equilibrium. Now we could say beginner's luck, and I do feel like he was lucky with that one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it shows that he has the tools to pull it off.
Yeah.
But maybe a David Lynch Dune situation happened where Sony said, you can't do it that way, hurry up, and he caved in, maybe? And
I think that, like, he made some promises to the actress, to Mila.
To everybody, probably.
To everybody.
Probably,
And the company said, we never gave you permission to make those promises. And it turned into a catastrophe. Feelings got hurt, and it came off on the screen. I think this happened during the filming, and there wasn't a completion of filming. So people still had to interact professionally with each other, but they weren't happy.
So
that's an opinion that I have. I don't know if this is a fact.
Yeah, we have right. It's obviously just speculation. Yeah. But it seems like a pretty educated guess.
Man, I love this movie, and I can watch this movie over and over. It's another one like Predator that I can watch. I'm just a little bit disappointed with the sound and with the quality of the visuals and some of those things. But that's okay.
It could have been. We're looking at it could have been, but.
Yeah.
For what it is, it's still, we enjoy it. Yeah. And
I mean, this is the dude that like marathon Steven Seagal like once a month, so it's all right. Like this.
Right.
Ultraviolet is a great movie, but when we compare it to the masterpiece of Equilibrium, from start to finish, you got goosebumps with Equilibrium.
Right.
When the puppy and the trunk, and you know the puppy is even quiet, and you're holding your breath. You know, there's not a lot of breath holding in Ultraviolet. There's another type of feeling as a movie watcher, but you're not on the edge of your seat. You know, I go back sometimes to Empire Strikes Back. By the time I watched Empire Strikes Back, I was a little boy throwing my hand at things, trying to do the Force. You know, there's certain movies that they affect you. When I watched Rocky 3, I wanted to learn how to fight and be a boxer. The Rocky 3 came out, I think, in 1983. I must have been 7 years old. By the time I watched this movie, I didn't want to go out and ride a floating motorcycle, or, you know, I didn't want to have floating swords that I could stick in my body. This movie just didn't do it. But with Equilibrium, right now, watching it right now, when I did for us, like I wanted to go back there and be young again and learn the gun kata and all that. So Equilibrium did have that Empire Strikes Back effect for me. It did. So I'm a little bit confused. There's something that we're not getting, so we can only speculate that some executive came in and told Wimmer, you can't do that. Because how do we go from a guy there's a great scene in the movie Jack Reacher. I don't know if you've seen it, but Jack Reacher Part 1. And there's a scene in this movie where the guy says, how do you go, or no, it might be Jack Reacher. It might be the movie Shooter. Have you seen Shooter with Mark Wahlberg? Another movie with the thing. But in the movie Shooter, the guy says, how do you go from a guy that can 1,000 yards away, he can shoot on the distance of a quarter, and he can you know, miss with like an inch. He knows how to do that. He can do that at will. Like just put one bullet right next to the other. How do you go from that to missing by a whole foot? Like, you know, Kurt Wimmer could just all day long, he could shoot the target all day long at 1,000 yards. And by the time he gets over here to this movie, he can't do it. So something happened, and some executive told him he couldn't do it. Like you said, David Lynch situation, just to make a long story short. Yeah. That's what I think too.
But probably multiple factors.
Because he's a master writer.
Yeah.
Despite all his things. I love the way he writes. I love the movie Street Kings. I love the movie Salt.
But wait. So if Mila had gone into the editing room, and like you said, this is a master writer, you don't think they would have butt heads?
They might have butted heads.
I bet they would have.
They might have.
You get two birds, tie them together. Even though they have four wings, they can't fly.
That's right. That's right. So straight out of that movie.
So you don't think that? I think that could have some of that happened here.
Yeah, and so the executives saw that, and they were like, you know what? We're not even gonna let this start. We're gonna put a stop to it. Yeah, it's typical Hollywood.
Who knows? I think so. Yeah. So it's a shame.
But overall, this one is like on fun for me. I give it my thumbs up, but it might not be the same for everybody.
No,
I think this movie has a lot more shortcomings and cons than it has pros. In terms of like my logical part of the brain,
that's fair.
Is saying there's a lot of red flags here.
Yeah,
this movie isn't as good as even like the movie Titanic. You know, I mean, that's a brand name movie, brand name stars. This is a brand name movie, brand name stars, brand name production company. But somehow it falls short. What's going on? What's really happening?
And that does happen to some mainstream Hollywood movies. You know? Yeah. It has happened. It doesn't always work out. You know, just because you put in the money and you tell the people, this is your film schedule. You could try to manage them, and it sometimes it just it falls apart. But anyway, we still enjoyed it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
But obviously, it wasn't as well put together as Equilibrium.
Right. But that's all right. So good place to call it.
Yeah, for sure. This is a good one. There's a lot of stuff that happened in this movie, and all I know is that I think that this is probably the launching pad for where Mila took her martial arts to the real world level, from where she was no longer just like a little princess type of babe, and she became an active participant in living the martial arts
like Keanu.
Yeah,
like Keanu in the John Wick, where he's
doing a lot more. I wouldn't say that they're martial artists, but they're a little bit. They're no longer just actors pretending to be martial arts.
Right. Yeah.
So I like it from that point of view because I love martial arts, and
of course,
anybody that aspires to learn them and take them seriously, even for a movie role, that says a lot about your character. And I know that Mila, I used to read articles about her that she was a big book collector, and she would go out of her way to buy first edition books and things, from like olden times. So that also says a lot about her. Someone that cares deeply about things. So I'm just thinking that this Hollywood took over, and this movie could have been a lot bigger than it was, but it just wasn't. Yeah.
So,
but it was good. We'll see you on the next one. Let us know in the comments. Thanks a lot, Wmpyr, for joining us.
Thank you.
Another great talk, and see you again soon. All right. Have a good one.
Wmpyr over and out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.